You're not ready for what just surfaced. Jim Jones, the Dipset capo himself, is now at the center of a scandal that could shake the entire hip-hop world to its core. Leaked court documents, alleged witness tampering, and jaw-dropping. Payoffs that no one saw coming. And just when it couldn't get any worse, Camron steps in with a brutal response that's got the whole industry buzzing. The tension off the charts. Betrayal, personal, the fallout, about to be explosive. 4 years. Whispers followed Jim. But this isn't just industry gossip. This is a full-blown takedown. A secret payment allegedly made to silence a key witness in a sealed case has now leaked. And guess who's not staying silent anymore? That's right, Camron just went off. On Instagram, in the studio, and even on a live stream that fans are calling the most savage moment of 2025. But what really happened behind the scenes? Who got paid? What did they cover up? And why is Camron suddenly unleashing every dark secret he's been holding back? Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you speechless. There's always been an unspoken tension between Jim Jones and Camron. For years, Dipset fans brushed it off, chalking it up to brotherhood, ego clashes, or just hop politics. But now, the surface has cracked wide open, and what's pouring out is far darker than anyone expected. Let's rewind. Back in the early 2000s, the diplomats, or Dipset, as the streets call them, were untouchable. Camron, Jim Jones, and Joel Santana were the faces of Harlem swagger, flooding mixtapes, radio waves, and fashion magazines with a unique blend of arrogance and authenticity. But behind the scenes, cracks were already forming. Cam was the eighth frontman, the lyrical mastermind with industry clout. Jim, the street soldier turned executive hustler. But as fame grew, so did ambition. Jim started feeling boxed in. He wanted more than just hype man status. He wanted power, say control. And that's where things started to unravel. By 2007, Dipset had fractured. Fans didn't know what to believe. Cryptic interviews, passive-aggressive comments, and canceled. Projects painted a messy picture. And though they reunited a few times over the years, it was clear things were never the same. Still, Jim and Cam played nice in public. The occasional IG post, an on-stage moment here and there, a few nostalgic interviews, it was enough to keep fans hoping. But real insiders, they knew the peace was fragile. Cam never forgot how Jim moved during those split years. How he tried to forge his own path without giving credit. How he aligned with rivals just to stay relevant. And Jim, he never forgot. How Cam treated him like a sidekick. But now, the unspoken has become undeniable. The allegations hitting Jim Jones aren't just career-threatening, they're criminal. According to leaked legal documents obtained by an anonymous industry insider and first shared by a viral hip-hop blog with over 2 million followers, Jim Jones allegedly paid off a witness tied to an unresolved case from the early 2010s. The case, linked to a federal investigation involving a violent incident outside a well-known Harlem nightclub, an incident Jim has always denied any involvement in. But the leak didn't stop there. Screenshots, financial documents, and what appears to be a burner phone transcript were shared across Reddit, Twitter, and even TikTok. They all pointed to a single chilling conclusion: someone was paid to keep quiet. And not just anyone, a former crew member whose testimony could have landed serious time for multiple people. When this news broke, the internet imploded. Fans were shocked, confused, and instantly divided. Some screamed, "Setup." Others said, it was only a matter of time. But the loudest reaction? Croness, silence, at least at first. For 48 hours, the Purple Haze legend didn't say a word. No posts, no comments, nothing. That silence. It was louder than any diss track then. Late Sunday night, everything changed. Cam posted a single Instagram story, a blurry photo of a Dipset chain, snapped in half, no caption, no tags, just raw symbolism. Within minutes, blogs reposted it, fan pages speculated. And then Cam dropped the bomb. A live stream, raw, unfiltered, furious. He didn't name Jim directly, but his words were sharp as daggers. You can't scream loyalty and move like a rat. That's not Harlem. That's not what we built. I sat back for years and let the lies slide. But now I'm speaking. What followed was a near 20-minute monologue where Cam hinted at sealed records, dirty money, and loose lips that almost got people killed. His energy unmatched. His pain palpable. He ended the stream with a chilling line. You paid him off to keep me quiet. But I ain't the one you can buy. And just like that, the internet caught fire. Camron had just declared war, and fans knew this wasn't for show. Behind the glitz and glamour, beyond the staged photos and nostalgic interviews, a civil war had been brewing. A betrayal buried deep beneath old money and deeper egos. And now it was boiling over in real time. But here's where it gets darker, because according to new leaked DMIs, this wasn't the first time hush money allegedly changed hands. And Jim, he might have just gotten caught in his own web. The day the story broke was chaos. What started as a fringe rumor on a hip-hop gossip forum exploded into a full-blown firestorm within hours. Screenshots were everywhere. A grainy document with what appeared to be a signature blurred, but unmistakably labeled James J. Jones. A name that many fans recognized instantly. The document was part of a larger leak. A 16-page PDF titled Operation Silence. It surfaced first in a Telegram group run by so-called urban justice bloggers, then rapidly spread across X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok. The files, supposedly from a sealed witness protection transfer form, naming a payout of $175,000 to a man listed only as WD. But internet detectives did what they do best. Within hours, users claimed WD matched a former Bird Gang affiliate who disappeared from the scene in 2014. After a nightclub stabbing left one man in critical condition, the connection was too loud to ignore, and then came the bomb. A voice message allegedly pulled from an old burner phone. The audio was scratchy, almost too faint to make out. But one line sent fans spiraling. Just handle it. Make sure you don't talk. 8. I'll make it worth his silence. The voice. It sounded eerily like Jim's. Too close. For comfort. Fans ran it through voice match filters, editing software, audio analyzers. Multiple TikTokers did side-by-side comparisons. Most came to the same conclusion. That's Jim, no doubt. Within minutes, hashtags exploded. Hashtag Jim Jones paid him, #witness money exposed, #Camron knew, #DIP, SET. Done, but what truly changed the game was Camron's next move. 3 hours after the voice note hit Twitter, Cam uploaded a clip. Raw, no beat, no intro, just him staring into the camera with fire in his eyes. He didn't blink. He didn't smile. He just spoke. I watched. You lied to the world. And I stayed quiet because I thought I owed you that. I thought we were brothers. He paused, then leaned forward like he was addressing someone sitting across from him. But you paid a man to erase history. You paid to rewrite the truth. You didn't do it to protect us. You did it to protect yourself. Cam's voice cracked at the end, just slightly, enough to make fans sit up straighter, enough to let everyone know. This wasn't just industry beef, this was personal. And then he dropped the first twist no one saw coming. Remember when I got locked up for that incident outside Club Crave? The one they pinned on my people? That was never supposed to happen. You know why it did? Because the witness they paid wasn't the only one talking. Cam's next words made timelines stop. You paid him to lie about me. Silence, then. A storm. In seconds, the comments section turned into a war zone. WAIT. Jim set up Cam. This is bigger than Dipset drama. This is attempted career assassination. Cam was the fall guy this whole time. This is deep. Streets ain't safe no more. Suddenly, the betrayal wasn't just about loyalty. It was about freedom, about legacy, about a brotherhood built in Harlem now collapsing under the weight of lies. Blogs ran with the story instantly. Headlines screamed, "Camron implicates Jim Jones in false testimony plot." Leaked audio allegedly shows Jim Jones ordered payoff, Dipset civil war goes nuclear. But it wasn't just fans and blogs reacting. Celebs started chiming in. 2. Freaky Zeke, another Dipset OG, posted a cryptic tweet. "Some secrets never stay buried. Harlem watching." Then came Funk Flex, ever the instigator. He went live on Hot 97 and said what everyone else was too afraid to voice. If Jim really paid off a witness to keep Cam behind bars, then he's finished. We talkin' Rico vibes. Ain't lovin' hip-hop. This is real federal heat. Federal heat. The industry started to shiver, but the next leak sent it into full frostbite. Out of nowhere. A new set of screenshots hit the web, this time from what appeared to be a group chat dated 2013. The members: Jim Jones, a high-powered criminal, defense attorney, and a third person whose name was redacted but whose messages made jaws drop. "Cam's gotta go down for this. He talks too much. I'll handle the rest." Fans started piecing it together. This wasn't just about avoiding charges, it was about silencing Cam permanently. Silencing his voice, his credibility, his presence. That's when the betrayal hit its full depth. Cam, single quotes Ron, the man who gave Jim his first major look, who carried Dipset on his back, had allegedly been targeted by the very person he built with. And Jim, he was radio silent, not a tweet, not a denial, just silence, which only made him look guiltier. Meanwhile, Cam wasn't done. In an exclusive interview with a YouTube podcast, he laid it out. "The man I once called my brother tried to bury me. He tried to turn my own hood against me, paid off a witness, dragged my name, made me take charges that never should have been mine. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he knew it. I lost 2 years of my life. I lost endorsements. I lost trust. All because he wanted to be the hero of a lie." The host asked him directly, "Do you think Jim paid off the witness?" Cam's answer: "Cold, calculated. I don't think it, I know it." And just when it felt like the story had peaked, just when fans thought they had the full picture, a new player entered the game, the witness himself, or at least someone claiming to be him. A now-deleted TikTok popped up from a user called @HarlemGhost87, a faceless video, distorted voice, but the caption said it all. "I took the money, kept my mouth shut. But it wasn't for Jim, it was for someone else." They both lied. And just like that, the first twist shattered everything. What if Jim wasn't the only one involved? What if someone else, someone even closer to Cam, was part of the setup? The TikTok sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet. @HarlemGhost87 single quotes as cryptic video was barely 40 seconds long, but its message hit harder than any diss track or leaked voice note. "I took the money, I kept my mouth shut. But it wasn't for Jim, it was for someone else." They both lied. It's 4 words, they both lied. Flipped the entire narrative upside down. Wait, ... Both. Within minutes, the comment section was flooded. Who else was involved? It's just blew the whole case wide open. Cam ain't innocent either. This is a setup on another level. The story, which had just begun to stabilize as Jim Jones betrayed Camron, suddenly spiraled into deeper, murkier waters. Who was the other person? If it wasn't just Jim, was Cam playing the victim? Or was he covering up something even worse? Then, the unthinkable happened. An unverified but rapidly spreading thread on X, posted by a burner account called @BXLeaks24, claimed to have access to a second payoff document. This one dated 3 months before the original Operation Silence. Filed a signature on it. Not Jim Jones, not the attorney. It was a name no one expected. Juelz Santana, the forgotten diplomat. The wild card. The alleged document showed a payment of $50,000 wired from a now-defunct LLC tied to a tour company Jewels used during Dipset's 2011 reunion concerts. The payment's memo line: consulting fee. The recipient: a man with the initials WD, the same initials as the previous witness. The implication: Jewels paid off the same man before Jim did. And if that was true, it meant one of two things. Either Jewels was protecting Jim, or they were both part of a bigger plan. Camron hadn't mentioned Jewels once. Not in the live stream, not in the podcast, not even in his cryptic Instagram posts. But now, the internet was demanding answers. Within an hour, #JUELZ involved was trending in 5 US cities. YouTube reaction videos popped up like wildfire. Did Jewels pay the witness first? Cam's been playing chess, or has he? The entire Dipset legacy was a lie. One video even played clips from old interviews where Jewels stumbled over questions about the 2011 nightclub incident. Fans were now watching every twitch, every blink, every stutter, dissecting old footage like courtroom analysts. And then came the audio leak no one was ready for. A new file uploaded to SoundCloud, mysteriously titled "The Studio Meeting," featured muffled voices in what sounded like a recording studio. 3 men speaking low. The audio was grainy, but cleaned-up versions quickly surfaced. One voice, again, eerily similar to Jim, could be heard saying, "If he flips, we all go down, Cam included." Then a second voice chimed in, younger, raspier, unmistakably. Similar to Jewels. "Nah, we pay him. Both of us. Cam don't gotta know. He already took the heat once." The internet went nuclear. Brew. They set Cam up. Jim and Jewels were in on IT. This is a movie. Cam thought Jim betrayed him, but they both did. The betrayal now felt biblical. Camron had spent the past few days torching Jim publicly, but he'd never spoken Jules's name. Not once. And now fans were wondering why. Was he protecting him? Was he afraid of what would come out? Or did he already know? That same night, an alleged text conversation between Cam and a mysterious contact leaked to a private Discord server and eventually made it to x.cam. "You sure the studio tapes are real?" "Unknown. 100%. I was in the next room. Heard it all. Cam, this S*** goes deeper than I thought. Cam, he played me. Twice. The heartbreak was evident. This wasn't just about legal betrayal or street politics anymore. This was a man realizing his own circle was possibly laughing behind his back for years. And right on cue, Cam went dark. No live streams, no posts, not even a story. The silence felt heavier this time, like the weight of 2 decades crashing down on him and the industry. It began to crack under the pressure. DJ Clue tweeted, "This ain't rap beef. This is legacy-level betrayal. Cam might be the last real one standing." Charlemagne Tha God said on The Breakfast Club, "If Cam gets confirmation that Jewels was involved, it's over. Dipset's not just done, it's erased from history." But while Cam stayed silent, Jim broke his dot in a surprise clubhouse room titled "Set the Record Straight." "Y'all think I'd pay to silence someone for something I wasn't even there for? Cam, my brother, man, I don't know what got into him. But this ain't how we handle business." But his voice was shaky, defensive, and when asked directly about Jewels, dead silence. Then he left the room. The internet called it an admission of guilt. The damage was done. And just when things seemed to settle into a dark, twisted silence, the real witness returned. This time, it wasn't a faceless TikTok. It was a full interview. Blacked out background, voice distorted. Posted on a YouTube channel called Street Leaks Uncut. The man claiming to be WD spoke clearly. They all knew. Cam, Jim, Jewels, everybody had a hand in this. "I stayed quiet because I was promised protection. not money. Protection. From who? I ain't saying. But y'all better believe this rabbit hole goes deeper. Then, the final line that froze everyone? Cam ain't as innocent as he thinks. He just forgot what he asked for that night. And with that, the video ended. Now fans were left shaken again. Was Cam the victim? Or was he the architect of something even darker? Was the Dipset fallout just about betrayal? Or was it about a secret too dangerous for any of them to admit? And the scariest part? We still haven't heard Joel speak. The internet was on fire. Within 24 hours of the Street Leaks uncut interview, timelines were unrecognizable. Every hip-hop page, fan forum, reaction channel, and podcast was locked in on the same question. Was Camron the real puppet? Master all along. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Camron's most loyal supporters clung to the image of him as the betrayed brother, the street general who got played by his own family. But the new narrative that he might have orchestrated the entire cover-up with Juelz and Jim as pawns sent shockwaves through even the most diehard Dipset fan bases on social media. People were losing it. One post said, "If Cam really said I forgot what I asked for that night, that means he knew. This ain't betrayal. This is a setup." Another added, "This man had us crying for him, only to find out he might have made the first move." Others were even harsher. Y'all still riding for Cam after this? Wake up. Harlem politics been dirty. But for every fan turning on him, there were 10 more doubling down, they twisting his words. That protection line proves Jim and Joel set Cam up, one user argued. Another wrote, "Cam didn't need to silence anyone. He's been about the smoke. They did him dirty." And the loyalty only grew stronger as people began replaying years of old interviews. Looking for hidden truths, the celebrity world didn't stay quiet either. Fat Joe went live and said, "This hurts. Cam, Jim, Juelz, they were Harlem's finest." If this is all true, the culture took a hit. Then 50 Cent jumped in with a savage meme showing all 3 Dipset members holding cash with the caption, "When y'all all paid the same snitch but forgot to pay each other." Meek Mill tweeted and deleted a message that read, "This game cold. The ones closest to you be the first ones plotting. Stay woke." But nothing rocked the scene more than what Jay-Z said. During a surprise performance at a ROC Nation event, he paused mid-song, looked at the crowd and said, "Loyalty ain't a word, it's action." That's why some crews crumble. It's too many silent deals, not enough truth. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. Dipset was no longer just a hip-hop group. It had become a case study in betrayal. The legacy that once stood for Harlem. Pride was being dissected in real time, and it wasn't looking good. Resale sites started listing vintage Dipset merch under titles like "From a Fallen Empire." Someone even vandalized the famous Dipset mural with the word "lie" scrawled across it. PODCASTS cashed in immediately. On a viral hip-hop panel show, the hosts analyzed every second of the leaked videos. "This isn't about one betrayal," one host said. "It's a web of power moves. Cam got played, or maybe he was the player the whole time." It's what the Joe Budden podcast spent over an hour tearing the situation apart. "What's killing this story," Joe said, "isn't just the drama, it's the silence. Every time one of them goes quiet, the conspiracy gets louder." In Harlem, barbershops were tense. Debates got heated. People who grew up on Dipset now felt like they had grown up on a lie. We wore their colors. We talked like them. And now they were faking it the whole time. Someone muttered in a viral street interview. Murals were defaced. Cam's face scratched out. Jim's name crossed over in red. The heartbreak was raw, local, and loud. Fans online weren't any calmer. Cam was trending. Jim was trending. The name getting dragged the most was Juelz Santana. He still hadn't said a word. His Instagram comment section was flooded. "Why you quiet? Got 48 hours to speak or we decide what's true." You hiding behind silence? Finally, Jwells posted something. A single studio selfie with the caption, "They talk. I record." It was meant to be smooth, mysterious, but it backfired instantly. "You think music gonna erase this?" one user wrote. "Nobody wants bars. They want answers." And then, just when it felt like things couldn't get worse, TMZ dropped a headline that sent everyone into a panic. Feds reportedly reopened 2011 Harlem nightclub case after witness reemerges. That's when people realized this was no longer a social media scandal. This was real, federal, potentially criminal. What started as internet drama was now triggering law enforcement investigations. The silence that followed felt dangerous. Cam hadn't addressed the new twist. Jim had disappeared from public view, and Jwells, still pretending the studio was a safe place. Everyone was asking the same questions. Would Cam finally admit what he asked for that night? Would Jwells tell the truth? Was Jim acting alone or just one piece in a bigger game? The Dipset legacy was no longer just broken. It was under investigation for days. The silence from all three Dipset members had been deafening. Cam's single quotes Ron hadn't posted a single word since the witness interview dropped. Jim Jones disappeared from Clubhouse, and Jwells, still hiding behind cryptic captions and blurred studio selfies. But the streets weren't quiet. The fans weren't resting. The feds weren't done. Then out of nowhere, another video leaked. It didn't come from a blog, influencer, or a YouTube podcast. It was posted anonymously to a password-protected site, only accessible through a series of Reddit links. Less than 1,000 people saw it in the first hour. But what was inside would change everything. The video showed surveillance footage from 2011, grainy, black and white. A Harlem nightclub entrance, a crowd, flashing lights. Then chaos. 2. Men arguing in the street, a third man pacing nearby. The audio had no sound, but the image was clear enough to identify the faces. One of them, Cam's single quotes Ron, the other, the alleged witness. The pacing figure, Jwells Santana. And here's where it turned. The argument ended with Cam grabbing the witness's arm, pulling him close, and saying something into his ear. The man nodded, looked down, then walked off camera. The timestamp on the video, 30 minutes before the stabbing. The implications. Earth-shattering. Cam wasn't just present that night. He'd spoken to the man who would later vanish, get paid, and never testify. And according to internet detectives, the angle of the footage proved something chilling. The exact location where Cam whispered to the witness was only visible from a back alley camera tied to a long-closed security firm, so the big question hit hard. Who leaked this footage now, over a decade later? That's when a new name entered the conversation. Ma Barker. An old-school Harlem fixer, known in the streets as a behind-the-scenes operator. The woman who once managed connections between street crews, promoters, and legal teams during Dipset's early rise. She hadn't been heard from publicly in years, but now, an anonymous source close to her allegedly sent a message to a journalist from an underground podcast. The message said this: "They all lied, but Cam lied first." In a bonus episode of the podcast, the journalist revealed something else. Ma Barker had kept everything: notes, contracts, off-the-record conversations, backup tapes. Allegedly, she'd been waiting for the day it all came crashing down, and she wasn't done. According to that same source, there was still one more video. One that hadn't leaked. One that would shatter everything. But here's the twist. She was holding it back. Not for protection, not for blackmail, for timing. Because Ma Barker wasn't just sitting on secrets. She was reportedly working on a Telelo documentary, a full-length expose titled "The Real Diplomats: What They Never Told You." And the final line in the trailer script, a Column's crown was built on silence, okay? And I'm about to make it loud. Now, the entire hip-hop community was frozen. Camron, the man everyone believed was the wounded soldier. They have orchestrated the entire cover-up from the start. Jim Jones, long painted as the traitor, may have been a reaction. Not the instigator dwells. Santana, the one too quiet for too long, could have been the only one trying to keep the house from burning down. And Ma Barker. She might be the one person who knew the truth all along by midnight. Hashtag Barker Knows was trending. Cam still hadn't spoken. Jim's label removed. Upcoming tour dates. Jewel's disabled comments and Dipset. It wasn't just broken, it was about to be dissected in front of the world because Ma Barker's documentary drops in 7 days, and the last frame of her teaser trailer. A blurry screenshot of a contract signed by all 3 Dipset members, labeled Confidential Agreement Do Not. DISCLOS. What were they hiding? Why did they all sign it? And when the final video drops, who's going to survive the fallout? This story isn't over, not even close. You just witnessed the unraveling of a brotherhood that defined a generation. Camron, Jim Jones, Juelz Santana once symbols of Harlem loyalty. Now trapped in a web of lies, silence, and secrets that go deeper than anyone imagined. And now with Ma Barker's explosive documentary just days away from release, the biggest bombshell may still be coming, so we need to hear from you. Was Camron ever the victim? Or has he been playing the long game all along? Did Jim act alone, or was he set up from the beginning? Is Juelz guilty by association, or is his silence protecting something even more dangerous? And most importantly, who do you believe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who's telling the truth? Who's hiding the darkest secret? And who will come out alive when the full story drops? We're reading every single theory, every timeline breakdown, every receipt you bring to the table. Because this isn't just a story, this is a puzzle that only gets crazier with each piece revealed. Make sure you like this video if you're locked in for the next chapter. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because when Ma Barker's footage drops, we'll be breaking it down frame by frame, and trust us, you don't want to miss it. The truth is coming, and when it does, it's going to burn everything down. Stay tuned.